I worked for a good part of my life because my dad always made sure me and my three brothers were busy. He felt like idle hands were the devil's playground. So we always had a laundry list of things to do around the house, in the yard. My first job actually would have been a paper route. Brother just older than me had an accident and he couldn't do the paper route anymore, and I was 9 years old maybe, and I was doing a paper route. I did it, and I did it rather faithfully and reluctantly, but that was just one of those situations where he couldn't do it in that case. But I think it was just the continuation of chore after chore, job after job. I never did not work throughout my young life, going through high school, but that sense of duty and honor, and I like the fact that I've been able to pay a lot of my own way along this time too. When my other friends maybe didn't have any money, I always had money in my pocket. So the little things, going to the movies, buying your girlfriend a Coke at the drive-in, that kind of stuff was easy for me. I wound up taking some summer jobs with a different utility in Odessa, Texas. And there I did a little bit of engineering internship, and then also did door-to-door bill collections, which, where I really learned to love dogs at that point in time. But then I really got a good sense of the knowledge of what utility business is starting to be about. I knew that I wanted to go back to school and enhance my opportunities later on down the road, and this is in my early to mid-20s is what I'm talking about. So I still was growing up, and I had at least one child that existed in our family, and probably another one on the way as well. So there was another sense of honor and duty and responsibility that was coming along that I hadn't had before. So I started going to night school and just plodding away, and I'll tell you, my family was very supportive, both my wife and kids, but my parents as well were always urging me to go get that college degree, and they didn't care what it was, but I felt like engineering was a good degree. My dad felt like engineering was a good degree, and I kept on that track, and the kind of courses that were offered in that curriculum just seemed to fit. I felt like that was my niche and my calling. We took different personality profile tests in our little respective management groups over the years. And early on, I was noted to be fairly introverted. One of the managers came to me when I was an engineer working in South Texas. He came to me and said, "Hey, we're gonna do this program where we're gonna bring employees in. We're gonna have educational type classes, and we would like for you to be a facilitator for these classes." I was absolutely horrified, because I was going to have to stand in front of the room, know what I was talking about, and it's not something that I was necessarily comfortable with, because it's the softer type skills, as they say. But I did it, and reluctantly, but I did it, and that was kind of the start for me to start turning the corner, because then I started learning the way that you communicate with people, your ability to communicate with people. It gives you that ability then to exchange influences with other people. So my sphere of influence, so to speak, started to grow quite a bit more than it would have I had just stayed on the technical track. I had a young engineer, a young lady who was very, very good engineer, and she was doing new customer service type projects for Public Service New Mexico. And I had asked her to pull out of what she was doing and take on a role as a United Way manager for the company that year. And she just kind of gave me the same look I would have given my manager back in those days, and I recognized that look. And I told her, I said, "Sarah, this is going to be a good move for you, because number one, you're going to get to see people that you don't ordinarily get to interact with, like the CEO of the organization. And then two, you're going to start interacting in a way that you wouldn't have the ability to do. So you're going to be talking in front of people, you're going to be giving speeches, and it's going to get you ready for the next step." And she did it just as reluctantly as I did in the past. But when it was over, she came back to me, and that was when the big payoff hit for me, because she came back and said, "You know what, you're right, this was a great experience for me, and I'm glad that you more or less marched me into it at gunpoint to make me do it, but it worked out, and she was really happy to do it." We're all in charge of our own happiness. And if you find yourself in a situation where you're vastly unhappy, then think about the impact that you're having on the people around you, and then start working on the things that you can do to fix what you can change, which is yourself. I come out to Lakeland and it's just like putting on a warm blanket. And I tell you, I couldn't be happier, and just love the location, love the town, I love the people that I work with, and it's just been great. So when you find that, to me, that's the bona fide definition of success. When you can look forward to going to work every day instead of dreading it, I think you're very successful at that point. It doesn't matter what your station in life is. If you feel that way about what you're doing, you're very successful.